Today, we're diving into a topic that's generating a lot of buzz and, frankly, a lot of questions in our community. The upcoming changes to gun registration slated for 2026. I know there's a ton of information and misinformation floating around. So my goal today is to cut through the noise, break down what's actually happening, and give you clear, actionable steps to ensure you can legally and responsibly maintain your collection. First, let's talk about the core of these changes. What is actually set to happen in 2026? The new regulations primarily focus on expanding the scope of what needs to be registered and standardizing the process across different jurisdictions. The aim, as stated by regulators, is to create a more comprehensive national database to better track firearms from manufacturer to owner. This means certain firearms that may have been exempt from registration in the past, depending on your state or the firearms classification, will now likely require it. This could include certain older models, firearms transferred through private sales before specific dates, or even some types of inherited firearms. So, what's the first thing you should do? An inventory. I can't stress this enough. Before you can figure out how the new rules affect you, you need a crystal clear picture of what you own. For each firearm, you need to document the make, model, caliber, and most importantly, the serial number. Take clear, well-lit photos of each firearm, including close-ups of the serial numbers and any unique markings. Store this information securely. You can use a dedicated software, a password-protected spreadsheet, or even a good old-fashioned ledger book kept in a fireproof safe. This isn't just for the new regulations. It's a best practice for insurance, inheritance planning, and in case of theft. Having this organized record is your foundational step. Once your inventory is complete, the next step is to understand the legal status of each firearm under current laws. This is where it gets a little more complex, because firearm laws vary so much from state to state and even city to city. What's a standard rifle in one state might be classified as a restricted item in another. Research your specific state and local ordinances. Look for terms like assault weapon definitions, magazine capacity limits, and lists of prohibited firearms. Official state government websites, specifically those for the Attorney General or state police, are your most reliable sources. Be wary of second-hand information on forums or social media. Always verify with official sources. This step helps you create a baseline, understanding where your collection stands right now, before the 2026 changes even come into play. Now, let's look forward to 2026. The key change is the push towards federal registration for a wider range of firearms. The specifics are still being finalized in some areas, but the general direction is clear. You'll need to pay close attention to the new federal definitions. For example, how will they define frame or receiver? This is crucial, especially for those of you who have built your own firearms. The new rules will likely require any privately made firearms to be serialized and registered. This means you might need to have a licensed manufacturer or gunsmith engrave a serial number on any firearm you built yourself before you can register it. Again, stay tuned to official channels for the exact procedures on this, as they will be critical. Let's talk about trusts and other legal entities. For years, many collectors have used NFA trusts to manage and possess items regulated under the National Firearms Act, like suppressors or short-barreled rifles. It's a good time to review your trust documents with a qualified attorney who specializes in firearms law. Why? To ensure your trust is structured in a way that remains compliant and offers the protections you intended. With changing regulations, there might be new requirements for trusts, such as how trustees are reported or how firearms are added or removed. Don't assume your old trust is automatically future-proof. A legal checkup now can save you a world of headaches later. This is an investment in protecting your collection for the long term. So, what about transfers? Private sales are going to be a major focus of the 2026 changes. The concept of the gun show loophole, which is largely a misnomer as licensed dealers at gun shows must perform background checks, is being targeted. The new regulations will almost certainly mandate that nearly all private transfers go through a federal firearms license holder, or FFL. This means if you want to sell a firearm to a friend or even a family member in some cases, ULL both need to go to a licensed dealer who will conduct a background check and handle the official transfer paperwork. This process creates a paper trail connecting the firearm to its new owner, which is a primary goal of the new system. So, if you're planning any private sales, be prepared for this to become the standard procedure nationwide. Now, for a very important point, grandfather clauses. Many people are asking if their current firearms will be grandfathered in, meaning exempt from the new registration requirements because they were owned before the law changed. The answer is, it depends. Historically, some laws have included grandfather clauses, but they are not guaranteed. And even when they exist, they come with strict conditions. For instance, you might be allowed to keep a newly regulated firearm, but you might not be able to sell it, transfer it, or even pass it down to your heirs. It could become tied to you for life. This is another reason why staying informed is so critical. You need to know if you must register a firearm by a certain deadline to qualify for grandfathered status. Missing that deadline could make legal possession impossible. Let's put this all together into a practical timeline. Right now, your job is to get organized. Complete that detailed inventory we talked about. Research your current state and local laws. Next year, as we get closer to 2026, you need to be actively watching for the final rules to be published. Reputable gun rights organizations and legal experts will be publishing analyses and will certainly be covering them here. Once the rules are final, you'll have a window of time to act. This is when you compare your inventory to the new requirements and see what needs to be registered. You'll need to follow the official process, which will likely involve submitting forms online or through the mail. Do not wait until the last minute. Government systems can get overloaded, and you don't want to be caught in a backlog and miss a critical deadline. Let's address the elephant in the room: compliance versus non-compliance. I know this is a hot topic, and people have strong feelings. This channel is focused on providing you with the information you need to operate legally. The consequences of non-compliance can be severe, including felony charges, loss of your right to own firearms, and significant jail time. My advice is to approach this strategically. Understand the law, and then make your personal decisions from an informed position, not based on emotion or rumor. Consulting with an attorney who is an expert in this field is the absolute best way to understand your options and risks. They can provide advice tailored to your specific situation and collection, which is something no one on the internet can do. To wrap things up, the 2026 gun registration changes are significant, but they are not a reason to panic. They are a reason to prepare. Start with your inventory. Understand your current local laws. Stay informed through reliable official sources as the new federal rules are finalized. Review any legal structures like trusts with a qualified attorney, and most importantly, create a plan and a timeline for compliance. This is about responsible ownership and protecting your rights by navigating the legal landscape intelligently. It's about ensuring your collection, which you've spent time and money building, can be enjoyed for years to come, legally and safely. Thank you so much for watching today. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more updates as we get closer to 2026. Drop your questions in the comments.